Buffs Nation, what's going on? I'm here a little bit earlier than normal. We have something very special going on. Yeah, we have a very special guest. So, whether you're watching this on the live or on the replay, definitely check in by hitting that like. Let me know in the comments who's watching, where you're watching from. Again, big shout outs to Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, New York City. I mean, New Zealand, all over the world. You're watching David Talks Buffs. Really appreciate it. So today have a very special guest. This has been somebody that I have been thrilled to have on the show because I'm a big fan of what he's doing in the sports world. And I think for a lot of y'all, he's going to be new for you guys as well. So I'm going to bring on here from Global Utopia Sports here in just a minute. His YouTube channel is linked here in the description. So please go follow. He's going to be somebody that you can go to for all news regarding sports. Big fan of him out in LA. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Global from Global Utopia Sports. Global, how are you doing?
Salutations to the crew. What's going on, everybody? Hey.
Man, it's so good to see you, Global. And man, I gotta say, like, I love your style. I love how you give us a lot of these quick videos. So if I need quick sports news, I mean, your shorts are always popping up for me to watch. If I need, you also give really in-depth, thoughtful, longer videos as well. You'll talk about the the history of Scottie Pippen, for instance, or you'll be talking about the Detroit Lions draft strategy. And I love how thoughtful you are with everything you do. But enough of me. I would love for you to tell our viewers, people checking in, who is Global and what inspired Global Utopia Sports.
Well, first off, man, I just want to honestly, it's a great honor for me, and I really respect the grind, Dave. I'm not going to ramble on and on about that because you already know I'm very impressed with your insightfulness, and you really put me on to Colorado, and now I'm feeling like a child all over again. But what an amazing thing to watch, and we'll get into that. But I started Global Utopia. Originally, this Global Utopia Sports is a spinoff from globalutopia.org. I'm based out of Los Angeles, and we have a little bit of a renovation going on here with the city in lieu of the World Cup and the Olympics on the way in 2026 and 28.
Okay.
So there's a lot of construction going on, a lot of makeovers, finally getting a monorail through LAX. I joke all the time that, if you want to run for governor in this next election, just promise you'll make a new LAX and you'll get everyone's vote. We're finally getting some things going, but, we're expanding on the public subway system. And it's just kind of like, with that, the schools are overcrowded. There's a homeless crisis. A lot of four-season climate places are sending their homeless here on one-way tickets. So I created the company for the mental health reason. And in sports, it's naturally, everyone's all stayed, defensive honors, and they all say the same thing. 90% of sports is mental because
Yes.
everybody's already decorated. And so it was a natural progression for me to go into Global Utopia Sports. And I use abstract images to promote some of the greatest legends that ever graced pro sports on any level.
Man, that is a beautiful thing, and y'all got to make sure you get to globalutopia.org. Is that what it is for all of your merch?
For the lifestyle and the sports side is globalutopiasports.com.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, right here on StreamYard. Yeah, no, we got it. So y'all be sure to go check out that Global. Why don't you showcase real quick what you got on right now, because this is one of my favorite pieces.
This is a tribute to LA. If you know, you know. The original was a quote from Kobe. He said, everyone is assigned their own puzzle in life. It's your job to figure it out. And this kind of, this is just celebrating Los Angeles. LA County is bigger than 30 states in America. There's so many dimensions to this place. All the pockets have their own story. And this is just me expressing my love for all you number synchronicity people and horoscope people. We got the 111 for Figueroa Street, and then we got the Metro Bus 81. The joke is that 81 bus goes to LA, to the Staples Center. Well, it's also how many points Kobe scored in a game.
Oh man,
So
it's just beautiful, man. And I think too, why your work like really connected with me. And yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Chris and Jennifer hopping in here, again, chatting here with Global from Global Utopia Sports. There was a big kind of turning point, I feel like, for me, with just learning to enjoy sports more, learning to appreciate athletes more. And it's sad to say, like, that turning point for me was, Kobe's death. It was a big eye opener for me, where I realized, like, there were people, there were athletes where I wasn't taking the time to fully appreciate their greatness, appreciate their craft. And it's been a big point moving forward for me. I feel like, as a fan, just wanting to have fun more, enjoy sports, enjoy, however long these eras last, because we just never know. Life comes at you fast. And I just really appreciate the work that you're doing there. I think it's a beautiful thing. And I can't wait to rock it, because it means a lot to me. It really does. So
I'm going to see it front and center. One's on the way to Dave. Everyone go get yours. It's called 24/8 Mentality. It's on globalutopiasports.com and .org.
oh man, I love it. Now, you were talking about mental health. You're talking about how sports is 90% of you know uh, of the sport. With this team, with what we're seeing with Colorado, I mean, these guys, they're dogs. Coach Prime definitely has that mental warfare aspect, in his coaching, into the, in with the guys that he's bringing on. As an outsider, kind of coming in and experiencing all of this, joining Buffs Nation with so many of my friends, what has been your thoughts and impressions right now with the Coach Prime phenomenon?
Well, my introduction to college football was in '98, during the Lloyd Carr era in Michigan. And around that time, I think Ed O'Bannon was the first one to really bring attention in '99, I think it was, towards the NIL. And then 2003 was the first. '96 was like the first reconstruction of the conferences, right?
Yeah.
Then in 2003, Tech Miami decided to go from Big East to the ACC. And so what that embarked was a big money pool being created. And then fast forward to today, you see that Prime is like the full circle moment,
Yeah.
um, this for me is such a surreal thing to bear witness, because with Prime, you're seeing literally the ground floor of how a Texas university began its prestige. This is what Colorado is going to be. When you see the direct pipeline that Alabama has in the NFL, Detroit has three of them. Ja Gibbs, Jamo Williams, Brian Brandt, all of them are going to be factors. Philadelphia is sporting six people from Georgia. That's going to be what Colorado is, and they're going to be in that discussion with the Texas, the LSU's, all the prestigious. So this is quite fascinating to be able to watch an Apple being built from the ground floor, Coca-Cola. Like, that's what this is. This is how Colorado is going to be forever embarked in the history now. It's that's how I feel about it, truthfully. And then when you look at the NIL deals, like, it's kind of crazy, because you're seeing, like, okay, players, and now even if they might not go pro, they can make for themselves a great living before they segue into their life after football careers. And guys like Prime and Warren Sapp, who, as a defensive guy, yesterday the news, Warren Sapp is one of the rare defensive players that actually made it, that actually got quarterback attention as a defensive player. He was that polarized, he was that charismatic, all the while the man, I call him the Mike Tyson of the interior line, because though he was a bit undersized, his hands were violent. He's a technique master. He probably was a sumo wrestler in the previous life, a champion sumo wrestler. And he would, he's 6'2", but when his stance, he would be like 5'11". And
Yeah.
so it was like, and he, finished with just shy of 100 sacks. But it's like Cordell Stewart. You're looking at Deebo Samuels and that contract negotiation that he had with San Fran, saying, "Hey, I'm not a running back. I'm a wide receiver. I'm a Swiss Army knife. So you got to pay me in the like a wide." That was groundbreaking moment. And you know who paved the way for that? Cordell Stewart. Cordell
Hmm.
Stewart slash. He was the quarterback, the receiver, the running back, kick returner, and he paved the way for the Randallels, the Pryors, and then you see the Debo Samuels and Cordell Patterson in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're going to see these seeds being sprouted all from the lineage and the tree of the Coach Prime factor, and it's that TCU game was really the seeds were planted. Like, wow, they answered the bell. There was a lot of hype, a lot of anticipation, and then the last game in Colorado, same thing.
Yeah. It like the what you're speaking about with, we're just kind of, you know, throwing out the seeds right now. Like everything's just starting to sprout. And when you're painting that picture of, Philadelphia having 6 Georgia Bulldogs on the team, the Detroit Lions having a handful of guys from Alabama, I think you're right. Like we are building an NFL pipeline here out of Boulder, something that we haven't seen here in 3 decades, and it's the way it's been done. Uh, the style that it's been done with, I mean, it's unprecedented. You can't replicate it, because it's Coach Prime. He's one of one. It's going to have its own unique look and feel to it, and it's been special. And I think so far, man, coming out 3-0 or 3-0 right now. We've won in kind of some different ways, which has been really fun to see. But what have you been most impressed with right now, or what things have really stuck out to you with the team?
Well, there's so many like subplots to the subplots, and the crazy thing is like the father son dynamic, then the head coach quarterback dynamic. After the week 2 game against Nebraska, and I think a lot of people don't realize Matt Rule is a former NFL coach, and after the first game, Prime was already answering questions about was he going to the league, and so that wasn't just about Shador being able to play against a sub package 3-3-5. Most quarterbacks are too busy focused on the base package. For him to be going against a 3-3-5 and that being the full identity in terms of what they lead with, that's an awkward look. But Prime having to prove that he can coach against guys who coached in the NFL. And Matt Rule coached at Carolina, who has graced the NFL with some of the best glory years and some of the best talent that it's ever seen, from Stephen Davis to Jake Delhomme to Steve Smith to Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, Josh
Hmm.
Norman. It's like, so they have given and he's part of and Carolina thought he was worthy, regardless of what the outcome was, because a lot of things go wrong and a
Yeah.
lot of factors to factor in. He's still an NFL mind. And to that discussion about NFL minds, after that week 2 game, Mel Kiper put Shador and Prime as the third best quarterback in the NFL, right? Well,
Hmm.
here's the crazy thing, the class that he was in. Number one, Caleb Williams and Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury's another NFL guy with the Arizona Cardinals. You
Hmm.
know the run on the mill on offensive oriented coaches. Well, the thing with Kingsbury is this. Kingsbury was deemed to be an offensive genius. And then you
Hmm.
have, with the market at quarterback right now, Mahomes going for damn near $500 million, even in the CFL, right?
Yeah.
You Jim Kelly's nephew, Chad Kelly, he just got put on for one. He's now the highest paid player. Pigskin and quarterbacks go hand in hand, is what I'm pointing out. The guy who was number 2 on the list. Give me a second, real quick. Who Mel Kiper had? Drake May.
Drake
Guess
May.
who's his coach? Mac Brown. Second or third all-time winningest coach in Texas history, and all-time winning coach in North Carolina. Then it was Shador and Deion, and then last but not least, Ewers and Sarkisian. Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator with the Falcons, and Nick Saban in Alabama, which is practically an NFL team. So that's the class they're in, and this is that to me is a fascinating dynamic to bear witness. You know what I mean? So fast to be climbing up the charts that quickly.
Yes, yes, you're totally right. There's so much good chemistry right now between coach and son, or coach and quarterback, father and son. Sean Lewis, who's running the offense right now, I think he's done a great job of kind of molding his philosophies, tailoring it towards the strengths of Shador. One little tidbit for you, Global, is when Sean Lewis, he was head coach at Kent State the last few years. Really up tempo, fun offense. But the packages right now that they're running out of, look substantially different than what they were doing at Kent State, because he's one of those coaches that isn't going to make what's the phrase, like a square peg going a round hole, like that type
Yeah.
of thing. He's done a great job of understanding what his strengths are with the players that he has and tailoring the offensive system to that. And I think that's why we've seen a lot of success, so far. But I'm curious, man, what you kind of think is, in the horizons or in the future, right now for Colorado. Yeah, let's talk about that. I mean, we got the possibility. It's looking like Warren Sapp is going to get his degree and then look to join the staff. A lot of people want to talk about this as DBU or wide receiver U, or heck, even quarterback U, depending on who comes here to replace Shador after whenever he goes to the NFL. Could this place be a place where coaches come for head coach U, so to speak?
Well, this is the thing. Players who play in college want to go pro. And when you have a guy who's been there, done that at the highest level. And a quick story, I remember, like when I was a kid, Prime was doing an interview, and he was talking about after winning the Super Bowl, and he was in his hotel room, and he was like, "Okay, what's next?" And that spoke volumes about the character as a man and what he will build these men to be in terms of locker room. Because, in my personal work, I meet a lot of people who work, a lot of entertainers, and who go on the road, and they always say, there might be someone who can assemble a stage better, but can they be a cool hang when we're on the road? Well, the same thing goes for locker rooms, and you want to make sure that you have guys who can integrate. And with Prime, he gives you a stamp of approval, knowing what he's meant to the league and what he's meant to, as a human, from a humanistic factor. And then, to me, I don't know about anyone else, this is probably a crazy declaration, but in my opinion, first of all, if you're a defensive back, anything in the secondary, or a linebacker who specializes in coverage, I'm going to Colorado now.
Yeah.
And to me, I find the defensive back, cornerback, whatever title people prefer, or what have you, that to be the most difficult position in any sport, because the game is now geared towards scoring. Just quite frankly, I grew up in the era of the jam. You can go even 10, 15 yards. The rule now is basically 5 yards and remove hands, and disengage. And then it just boils down to proper coverage and leverage and all that. And so, it's the most difficult position to play. I think that's the most devastating thing, and I hate to take this pod in that direction, but the loss of Travis Hunter. I think offensively, Johnny Horn to me is probably my favorite player to watch on Colorado right now, and it's crazy because 2 days before I watched the tape on him, his first, before I started going over all the tape, I was just talking about wideouts who don't necessarily get the publicity they deserve. And I was thinking about Mr. Monday Night himself, Joe Horn, and so, and then it's like, I see Johnny Horn Jr. and I'm like, whoa, and he's polished. I wish he was a sophomore instead of a junior and had 2 more years ahead of him in college. But, to me, it's just truly a remarkable, as a former defensive back in the game where it's the hardest position to play, having a guy who did it probably at the greatest level at his position. And even for quarterbacks, you see it in Shador. He's so calm and poised like Brady in the pocket. Some moments, that Nebraska game on that 3rd and 16 in the second quarter around the 10-minute mark, he literally had the dude right here ready to clobber him, and he waited to the very last second and escaped out. And regardless of what the outcome was of that play, just his level of calm and comfort, or even, if he means he's going to get hit, so be it, to get it out there. I mean, I definitely don't want to get ahead of myself, but I can't wait to see who supersedes Shador afterwards.
Yeah.
So we can, because and I love Shiloh, man. Shiloh's he's got hands like he plays on. He should be doing what Travis is doing. Honestly, he's a two-way guy. You know what I mean?
Man, it would be fun to get Shiloh, a look in the red zone or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. And Man, I think, you're hitting on it, is that, we do have kind of the guys that are in the national headlines, and that's Shador, that's Travis. But there's so many guys on this team too that they're worth paying attention to. You just brought up Jimmy Horn. We got Xavier Weaver. We got
How about
that
Harrison?
freshman running back. Oh, Michael Harrison, a walk-on tight end. That's
Hey,
crazy.
it might be time. It might, I'm with you on that campaign. He might need to get that scholarship. And those hands were impeccable when it mattered the most.
Absolutely. And there is just so much there's so much story to consume, and I think like that's been one of the things that has made this rise like so just enjoyable, and why like I have friends that aren't normally paying attention to college football just saying, man, Colorado's my team now. I'm invested in this, the story. What has been your thoughts on just Deion Jr., for instance, running his well off media, all the backstage access that we're getting, every day to what's been going on here at the program. In terms from a media and storytelling perspective, what are your thoughts on all that?
We're bear witnessing an unbelievable 30 for 30 story at some point. It's going to be
Yeah.
up there with you and some of the more prolific programs that have ever graced the collegiate level, honestly. And I'm not just talking football. I mean, this is an opportunity to become like the Duke of basketball, or the Michigan State of basketball. And with the cameras now and the unlimited access, we're going to get the best depiction of what is actually ground floor monumental type vibes that are going on right here. They roll off the bus, and I mean, look at that star-studded list they have for USC when that time is on September 30th. It is
Yeah.
every single the amount. Hey, it is a madhouse at this point. And the crazy thing is, this is just the first year. Wait till you know we got. I mean, Colorado. Uh, Dressed three 4-star recruits, one 5-star with Trav Hunter, 51 transfers. It's amazing right now where this thing is, you know, uh, yeah, where this thing is, the direction this is going. And I mean, it's truly an honor and privilege. We're seeing everything full circle. Like I was saying, this is the Ed O'Bannon. This is the first ever, like, with the conference, um, in a,
The
pool of
realignment. Yeah.
yeah, realignment. It's just, I can't, that it's not a mistake why there's all this coverage and why it's the hottest story right now in in all of sports, not just pro.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. It's something that we just got to appreciate with how special this whole thing is. And I think one thing that I would love to hear from you. I didn't really I was a little too young to appreciate watching Prime do his thing during his playing career, going and playing baseball, then playing football, or doing both things at once, and kind of all this. And it's a big honor to talk to people that have memories, of him in his playing days when he was younger. What does it feel like from somebody that's watched him, achieve everything that he did with the Falcons, Niners, and Cowboys, in professional baseball, to see him now going into coaching, and not just going into coaching, but looking, establishing, I think, what's going to be a dominant legacy in coaching.
Well, my fondest memories where I like was able to really lock in and watch him was Dallas. And there's a few players in the NFL with the Cowboys that where they go, it doesn't matter which they're a one-man franchise. T.O., Darrell Revis. I feel like Revis really, like, his immaculate business sense kind of also helped contribute. I mean, what he did on the field was obviously why he's a Hall of Famer. But this guy, Darrell Revis, was betting on himself year to year. Well, systems are at different franchises, and when you're going from Dallas to San Francisco, Atlanta, Dallas, it's like, first of all, it shows that you have the mindset. You're able to go anywhere and integrate. And that's one thing. And then secondly, produce at a very high level consistently. I think of the way he paved the way for a lot of people, because this guy was important every step he goes to all these wealthy, abundant, storied franchises. He didn't just do it at an off the grid small. He went to epic centers like Atlanta. I remember them for like how many quarterbacks they had. Mark Brunell, Brett Favre. They were like a quarterback lab at one point. How many quarterbacks and then eventually it's crazy when they had like all those quarterbacks, and then years later they got Michael Vick, Mr. Madden himself, and it was
Yeah.
just like so like he went to Atlanta, San Fran. We don't even Bill Walsh, all the way to Montana, Steve Young, Jeff Garcia. I mean, the list goes on. They're just a quarterback lab, and now with Purdy, I think Purdy has the potential. And then he's not doing it on small stages. He's doing all this at the ultimate level. And
Hmm.
so for me, it's just kind of like that's the most astonishing thing. And then the CT plants watching these guys now in business going to different teams and betting on themselves and performing. That's all to me a byproduct of what Prime had, set the tone for. And you don't do that without high character and big time, mental fortitude. And I, you know, I'm just like this is there. The numbers don't lie. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Fifth most watched college game ever. This last game, and the number one streamed college game I think of all time.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy. And like you said earlier, this is just the baseline. Like this is year one. Who knows, what next year and beyond is going to look like, and how this team is going to continue to build and fill out, and yeah, eventually kind of, I expect it, to reach the standard of Alabama or Georgia, what Georgia's become, if not eclipse it, here at some point. That would be the dream, right? It really is just such a fascinating, intriguing thing. It's bringing people together. It's bringing people that are, uh, you know, who don't normally follow the sport. They're like in it. They're like emotionally
yeah,
invested in it. It's a beautiful thing. Um, and you know, I mean, that's why I'm glad. Like, it's cool to see everything that you're doing. Talking about sports, the NBA, the NFL. It's been cool to see you start to sprinkle in some of those, some of those CU tidbits as well with what's going on. And because I mean, why wouldn't you want to enjoy this? Does things like this make sports more enjoyable for you?
definitely. Everyone loves an underdog story, and obviously, we know that the history of what he's done, and he's never come up short anywhere he's been at. But to see it happen, I mean, we know traditionally what has been the record and everything like that, and him arriving and changing the tide. And honestly, I can see Colorado by year three having first dibs on all the 5 stars or whoever they want, regardless of rating. Because that's always subjective. That for those of you like you talked about earlier, the Brad Holmes draft in Detroit, he kind of recalibrated the thought process of people
Mhm.
like, hey, with the mock draft, we got our own boards here and we have our own thought process. I'm sure Colorado's going to set the tone too. Oh, they were interested in him. They went and checked out 3 games from him in high school. Maybe he's not a three. Maybe he's a 5 star and we just didn't realize it. That's good. That ultimate stamp of approval. It's going to be, that certified label is, from when Colorado's in the building. And like you said, I have to. It would be foolish not to acknowledge the elephant in the room. This is the biggest headline story right now in sports, and why would anyone not? Everyone loves the underdog story from the Rocky movies till now. This is what it's all about. So, um, congrats to you, man. You're in the epic center of of all the greatness. I mean, what a perfect time. You just landed in the line in an oil field.
Right? It's like I feel like the one thing that I've like timed right in life. I'm like, yes, I'm at the right location. I started this channel back in February, man, when I was on a little bit of a medical leave from work. And man, I never would have imagined, it's kind of grown into what it is right now. But man, it's been a lot of fun, and getting to meet more people, getting to connect with people from all over the world, including yourself global. It's an honor. It's fun, and man, I'm just loving it. So just know, man, that man, we love having you a part of this, being
Oh,
invested in it, covering it, man. I'll definitely get you on the show again here soon because, man, you're gifted for this. You have like you're special. The way you talk about this stuff, the way you connect the dots, it's truly unique. It's truly special. So everybody that's in the chat, I mean, holy moly, we got 66 people in here. That's crazy. Please go into my description, subscribe to Global Utopia Sports, man. He is killing it. He deserves all the success in the world. Global, before we wrap up, one, I know I got to get you back on to also show more of your pieces. I'm sorry we didn't get more to
no,
that, but
yeah.
um, let everybody know, where they can find you and what they can expect from you, on your channel or on your Twitter, coming up here in the future.
Yeah, now I've been doing a lot of integrating of fantasy sports. So for those of you DraftKings, FanDuel junkies, hey, I'm right there with you. And there's always a wealth of knowledge. I love paying homage to the unsung heroes and the forgotten, and I try to incorporate that as much as possible. Y'all can check me out on all socials: YouTube, X, or Twitter, whichever one you prefer. And the website is globalutopiasports.com and globalutopia.org. Hey, everyone, protect your mentals. That's the only thing we own in this life.
Man, yes, 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 100%. Global, again, true honor and privilege to have you here on the show. We'll do it again soon, man.
Sure.
Just can't wait to see,
The feeling.
the growth that happens from here on out with you. And everybody else, really appreciate you tuning in, especially so early. Be sure to hit that like. I'll get to some of your questions and comments later on with some of the guests that I had when, we're talking injury reports and different things like that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
until then, everybody, thank you again for your time. Global, we'll see you again soon. And as always, Sco Buffs.
There you go.
All right.